and welcome to this week's episode of the CG Love Show. And this week I'm going to be talking about how I reconnected with my creative side after 14 years and basically what I realised as a result of this. So I really hope that this can relate to you in some way, and I'd love to know what your takeaways are from this episode at the end. So I'll start now with my story. So typically I'm a travel blogger. However, this venture, what is now CG Loves, would not have happened if it wasn't for me delving into my creative passion, that is blogging, which has now led into other things such as getting more arty and experimenting with colour. So I just think it's really important that I share my story with you, because you just never know who's going to relate to this experience that you've had. First of all, what made me want to write this blog and make this podcast was the Create and Sell challenge that I took part in the Female Entrepreneur Association. And it was incredible. It was only 3 days long, but I saw so many women start to believe in themselves and realise that the possibilities are endless. It was incredible. Some even realised that they could just create and sell their digital product in just a few days. And some even got some sales. For some of these women, these ideas had been stuck in their heads for years. How crazy is that they just did it in 3 days? But this challenge really just got me thinking, like, how many people out there don't realise their creative potential? It felt as though I just had to spread the word even more and share my story with you. It seems apt to begin with my 30th birthday in September last year. Despite being one of the most uneventful due to COVID-19 restrictions, it was actually one of my most significant of the last 3 decades. Of course, this may be coincidental, but I had reached a point where I was starting to properly evaluate my life and began putting a lot more energy into my blog. I realised that having this creative outlet alongside my very numbersy job made me feel alive. Then I dug deeper into the various chunks of my life and realised I pretty much had left my creative side at school 14 years ago. I think it would have been useful if my younger self had known and believed the following 5 things. And just to be clear, before I get started, I don't have any regrets because every step that I've taken has led me to where I am now. It's just good to reflect and pass on what we've learned to others, I think. So, first of all, I just want to say, do what is right for you. I was pretty creative at school, generally better with words and images rather than numbers. So after I got my GCSEs, this is what I did. I dropped art and French, which I was pretty good at, and decided to take chemistry and maths at A-level, which I wasn't terrible at, but didn't come as naturally to me. Why did I do this? In short, for whatever reason, I didn't have the confidence to do what was right for me. I had taken a look at what everyone else was doing and decided to follow suit. The thing is, people have different opinions based on their own paths and influences. Having attended a grammar school, the general consensus was, the more academic, the better. I was told that art wouldn't fit in with my university plans, so of course I listened to that one person. Secondly, you need to realise that there is more than one definition of success. Another idea in my head was that I needed to get into a professional training scheme as soon as possible to climb the corporate ladder and earn a stable income. What I didn't consider was whether this kind of path really suited me and my skill set and personality. Just to clarify, I'm not suggesting that this was a bad decision, because it's not unusual at all. In fact, this is a pattern that I've noticed a lot during my personal development journey. Many entrepreneurs and creatives originally worked in corporate jobs too, but ended up realising it's not the life that they wanted, even more so after achieving great success. Another warning, you may experience magpie syndrome. Don't get me wrong, the start of my career was all very exciting to begin with, and was a whole new world to me. Ultra-modern offices with high ceilings, card entry systems, coffee machines, floor-to-ceiling windows, the smart work attire, healthcare packages, pensions, and more. But even with all of this, the shine soon began to fade, for me anyway. And what you don't know, you don't know. Let me explain. I suppose it's always easier to look back in hindsight, isn't it? And very easy to judge the decisions you made in the past on your current circumstances. This is very normal. Plus, you never know until you tried something to then decide if it's not for you. So it's a very tricky one to assess. One of the main problems, however, is that I didn't really have a clue what I wanted to do with my life when I went to university to study history age 18. So I had to decide what was next for me after graduation. This is an issue that so many people face too. It's not particularly common to just know what you want to do when you grow up from a certain age. Thirdly, I want to say that you're allowed to try. There is every chance that my reluctance to pursue something creative earlier in life also came from a place of fear. At the time, I believed it was highly unlikely that I would make it in a creative job because of the huge amount of competition in the industries. But who was to say that I wasn't good enough to even just try? It can take some time to get to where you want to be, and that's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out. In fact, many rarely do, I've found. Satisfaction levels are important too. In hindsight, perhaps I hadn't properly considered how rewarding a different kind of job would have been. It's not something I even thought about, to be honest. As my career went on though, I discovered that I wasn't feeling satisfied with the work I was doing. And I did want to help people in a way that felt more meaningful to me. Fourthly, remember that it's okay to be unconventional. I'm not afraid to admit that during my teenage years and early to mid-20s, I just wanted to fit in and stick to the rules. At school, I hated getting into trouble for disappointing someone. So, the idea of deviating from the conventional style of working, or what I understood it to be anyway, would have felt uncomfortable for me. This is something I definitely have had to do more inner work on, based around my own insecurities. I think I had to allow my confidence to grow organically in order to grow into that current way of thinking. But I would love to go back and tell my younger self that it's totally fine to take a different path and explore new avenues. You are never stuck in one place either. There are always alternative options for you. Number 5, my favourite one, explore your creative side. When I began delving into the brand of CG Loves in December 2020, I started to realise how much I actually love designing and making stuff. To the point where I'd say it's pretty addictive. I have Canva, aka the most fun design platform ever, and the lovely Michelle Raw to thank for this. She has been a huge inspiration for me in this area. Oh, and did I mention it's a great excuse to buy fun, colourful stationery? Are there any stationery addicts out there? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'm now in the process of creating and releasing my first ever online course, Travel More and Live Well, which has been a lot of fun and a huge learning curve. Plus, I'm beginning to create my own printables range and digital planners. In my wildest dreams, I never thought that I could do this. So if I can do it, then you certainly can do this. So it's been a short one, but I think it's been packed in with a lot of value and messages for you, because I don't think it's ever too late to reconnect and rediscover your creative side. And I think a lot of us lose it when we're starting our careers and climbing the ladders and starting families. We probably don't think we have time to do any of this on the side, but see it as a way of self-care, personal development. It can be so satisfying to create something. So I'm just encouraging you to really tap into that side of you. If it's been hiding away for years, wake it up. Spark your creativity with starting a blog, or maybe writing a short ebook. Or if you love visuals, maybe you want to get into photography. There is a PDF free with this podcast called 5 Ways That You Can Tap Into Your Creative Genius, and I hope you download this. I'll put the link in the comments section so you can explore what you're going to do next. I'd love for you to let me know what you've decided on. So I hope you have a great week, and thank you again for listening to the CG Love Show today. I hope you've been inspired and you're ready to take on the world. Have a fantastic week, and I will speak to you soon. Bye!